أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحن نقص عليك نبأهم بالحق إنهم فتية آمنوا بربهم وزدناهم هدى اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه أزواجه وذرياته أهل البيت أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. نحن نقص عليك. We will tell you the narration, the story. نقص. Now, قص, قاف, صاد. You have root, قاف, صاد, صاد. There are 16 morphological forms of this used in the Quran. And we have 30 different uses, different words used in different places, 30 places used in the Quran. Inshallah, first we will look at these expressions, how they have come up, how they are used in the meanings, what are the meanings. You have 5 times you have the word Naquss. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Araf, ayat number 101, He says, Tilkal Qura Naqussu min ambaiha. These are the inhabitations, the places, locations, cities or towns or Qura. We are telling you stories of these. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells the stories of these stories. This is in Surah Araf. Surah Araf has other places also. So we tell you stories of these people who went before you. نحن تلك القرى نقص من أنبائها. We tell you the stories of these ancient places. You find them in ruins now. Now what will happen to you is similar to what happened in the past to these people. So be careful. Now this is the meaning. And in Surah Hud, alayhi salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in ayat number 120, He says, وَكُلًّا نَقُصُّ عَلَيْكَ مِنْ أَنْبَاءِ الرُّسُلِ مَا نُثَبِّتُ بِهِ فُؤَادَكَ. We are telling you all these stories. In Surah Hud alayhi salam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells the story of Nuh alayhi salam, Ad, Samud, people of Shuaib and people of, all these stories have been told. And then eventually at the end of the, towards the end of Surah Hud, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَكُلًّا نَقُصُّ عَلَيْكَ مِنْ أَنْبَاءِ الرُّسُلِ. We are telling you these stories of the prophets of the past. نُثَبِّتْ بِهِ فُؤَادَكَ مَا نُثَبِّتْ بِهِ, so that your heart will stand firm, determined. Sabit qadam, so that firm is stationing firm. So you are on your, whatever we are telling you, you stand firm on what we have revealed to you. So nusabit bi fuadak, your heart. Now this comes before Surah Yusuf alayhi salam. In Surah Yusuf said, Naqussu alayka min ahsan al-qasas. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, so this is another Naqussu alayka ahsan al-qasas. In Surah Yusuf alayhi salam, verse number 3. And then in Surah Kahaf, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, نَحْنُ نَقُصُّ عَلَيْكَ مِن نَبَأٍ نَحْنُ نَقُصُّ عَلَيْكَ نَبَأَهُم بِالْحَقِّ. This is the story we tell you of these people of Kahf with truth. This is a true story, this is a real story, and we tell you the story with haqq, truthfulness. Now all these stories are being told. Why? What is the use of telling stories? This is the meaning, that your heart will stand firm on, because in past also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has His sunnah, has His way of doing with things, and He makes the believers stand firm on their belief, and He destroys the unbelievers. Eventually this is what's going to happen. So this is نَحْنُ نَقُصُّ عَلَيْكَ نَبَأَهُم بِالْحَقِّ in Surah Alkahaf. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Taha, كذلك نقص عليك من أنباء ما قد سبق. This is the way we tell you this story. So in Surah Taha, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells the story of Musa alayhi salam in detail, and then there's a reference to Hazrat Adam alayhi salam and a couple of other references. But the story of Musa alayhi salam. Musa alayhi salam is very close because he was a determined prophet. Ulul Azm min ar-Rusul. So the story of Hazrat Musa alayhi salam is in Surah Taha, and this Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is also called Taha, Yasin. His name is Yasin. His name is Taha. His name is Hashar. And so this is one of the names of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And he says, كَذَلِكَ نَقُصُّ عَلَيْكَ مِنْ. We are telling you these stories. Why? To make your stand firm. قَدْ مَا قَدْ سَبَقْ. What went before you. What had happened before you. This is the story we are telling you. And then in Surah Al-Qasas, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings up again إن هذا هو القصص الحق وما من إله إلا الله. This is in Surah Al-Imran. إن هذا هو القصص. These are the stories that the stories of truthfulness, that there is no God except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is إن هذا هو القصص قصص الحق وما من إله إلا الله. There is no Allah. There is no other God, there is no other person to be worshipped and anything to be worshipped except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَقْصُصُ الْقَصَصِ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. This is also Surah Araf. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَقْصُصُ الْقَصَصِ. So tell them these stories. Storytelling is an art, and stories can be told. There has to be morals in the story. It's not nonsense story like Hobbit and this and stupid stories, and they take you like jinn and ghost and all these stories with no morals, with no values, nothing to learn from. All these stories. I don't know what they learn, except maybe they learn the language. Maybe they write beautiful prose or whatever. But there is no moral in it, because these are immoral stories. They take you away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, tell them stories. Even look at the stories of Aesop. They are beautiful stories. There is always a moral. They are fables. They are animal stories. The fox does this and the crow does this, and this animal does this and that animal does this. These are morals in it. So the previous generations, they used to tell these stories in order to teach us morals. Now they tell a story to make us, to learn how to kill. All these people, the youngsters, they want to kill and they want to make theft in the stores, and they go and they want to steal things, and they want to do this and they want to do that. They make you violent. I know this is the moral of these stories. Turn into atrocious, violent people, go and kill people on the street, kill people at home, and do this or do that. They say, okay, can you do that? You say, oh yes, I can. If you don't do it, you are a coward. Okay, I'm not a coward, I'm a very brave. What do you want me to do? Go and kill that person. Go and do that. Go and do that, So this is the stupid story people tell, violent stories. Then this our TV is full of these violence. Films are full of these violence. Very stupid stories. This little child, this a very brave child, attacking the people who are very, we have weapons and we have this and this and this. But this child is overdoing, undoing everything that they are doing. This is very stupid. How can a child do all these things? This pious story. What do you want to do with these stories? Telling children to be brave so that they can get killed. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Why do you tell these stories? Anyways, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَقْصُصُ الْقَصَصِ. Tell them stories from the past with morals, with moral values, with have something to learn from. And the Quran has many, many stories, many, many ضرب المثل. So نحن نقص عليك أحسن القصص. This is in Surah Yusuf alayhi salam. And then in Surah Qasas, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَلَمَّا جَاءَ وَقَصَّ عَلَيْهِ الْقَصَص. When Hazrat Musa alayhi salam reached Madian, and these little girls, they were looking after the sheep, and he watered their sheep, gave them water. And then the girls went home and they told their father, there's an ajnabi, and person from outside, not from this place, and he was very nice to us, and he did this, he did this. So the father says, go and bring him. I want to pay him back for what he has done for my sheep and for you, to help you. So this lady comes up, with haya, and she says, come, my father is asking you to come home. And then Hazrat Musa alayhi salam goes to this descendant of Shoaib alayhi salam. Shoaib, of the stories that we have, Shoaib, that's his ancestor, many, many years. This Shoaib, his country was not destroyed. The earlier Shoaib, his place was destroyed because those people were not believers, and then they wanted to do this. This Shoaib alayhi salam, he is in the Bible, he's known as Jethro. He is father-in-law of Musa alayhi salam. And when Musa alayhi salam comes from Egypt outside in the Sinai desert, Jethro or Shoaib alayhi salam, this Shoaib comes and he teaches him. Actually, Musa alayhi salam has lived many years with this Shoaib alayhi salam, and he is a learner. He is also a prophet of his time, but his name is not mentioned in the Quran. He is just man of Madian. And he comes out and tells Musa alayhi salam that you do this and how to go around taxing people or doing this, or where to put which tribe. And he teaches him when they are in the Sinai. Jethro comes, Shoaib alayhi salam comes, and he teaches. But also before 10 years he lived with this Shoaib alayhi salam, Musa alayhi salam, and then he acquired his prophethood in Sinai when he was going back or looking after his sheep or whatever he was doing. So, so this Shoaib alayhi salam, he says, لا تخاف. He says, فَلَمَّا جَاءَ وَقَصَّ عَلَيْهِ الْقَصَص. When he came to, Musa alayhi salam came to this Shoaib alayhi salam, another Shoaib, not the first Shoaib, not the one mentioned in the Quran by name of Shoaib. نحن نقص عليك فلما جاء وقص عليهم القصص قال لا تخف. Jethro or this Shoaib alayhi salam, he tells Musa alayhi salam, don't be afraid. This is far away from Egypt. now Sinai desert is under hand of between Egypt, this Morsi, and or his Sisi, his descendant Pharaoh, and between Israel, this Netanyahu. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina, Ya Rab, look after them, Ya Rab, dammar a'dahum. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad Nabi Rumi wa alihi wa sahbihi qasab. فلما جاء وقص عليهم القصص قال لا تخف. لا تخف, do not be afraid. So this is in Surah Qasas. That Surah is also called Qasas because of this word here. Like قص عليهم القصص قال لا تخف. This is Qasas. There's Qasas. The whole story is of Musa alayhi salam, but there are different events in this story, because you have not in one place as in this story, like his birth, Musa alayhi salam's birth, and then he's being sent into the river to be taken up by the wife of Pharaoh, and then to be brought up in the house, and then going out and killing this man, and then running away to Madian, and then bringing back. And then the story of Qarun is also in the story, because Qarun is a relative of Musa alayhi salam. And so this is story, but all these put together, there's Qasas. And Surah Kahaf is very beautiful Qasas, a beautiful story. And this tells you about how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings up people who have been downtrodden, who have been suppressed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings them up, because this is His way. And Allah, this is very revolutionary surah in that meaning, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not leave alone the humble people, He does not allow the Fir'ain of people of the time to crush them, just like the people are being crushed everywhere now. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not allow this to happen for a long time. He gives them long rope, but then He takes them and then He fixes them up. He says, no, good, you go, down you go, down you go. So this is what's going to happen to all these cruel people who have thrown violence in the whole Middle East, in Egypt, in Syria, in Afghanistan, in Iraq, in Libya, in Tunis, in everywhere problem, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and everywhere you have this problem. This is because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not allow, He allows them to go to the extreme limit, and then He takes them. He fixes them up and destroys them. This is how Roman Empire and Persian empires were destroyed before Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam went to Medina, and then this happened. So these people who are doing this violence throughout the world now, and they are calling other people terrorists. Who is the terrorist? These people are terrorists, invading people's countries and then calling them terrorists. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. اللهم اغفر لنا وارحمنا وارزقنا واحفظنا واهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. And then He says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, this, we were talking about this word, use of this word, وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا رُسُلًا مِّن قَبْلِكَ مِنْهُمْ مَنْ قَصَصْنَا عَلَيْكَ وَرُسُلًا لَمْ نَقْصُصْهُمْ عَلَيْكَ. This is in Surah An-Nisa, Surah Qasas, Qasasna, and Naqsushum is used in this surah. And Qasasna عَلَى الَّذِينَ هَادُوا حَرَّمْنَا مَا قَصَصْنَا عَلَيْكَ مِنْ قَبْلُ. What we have told you. So this is repeatedly telling something. This is Qasas. Going back and forth, this is the story. This is Qasas. Qasas, going back. Qasas means go back. So you go back to the story, you tell the story again, the child is still, and he says, Baba, tell me the story of Mumtaz Damsaz, tell me the story of such and such, and tell me the story. So this, she knows, or he knows the story already, but he says, tell me the story again, tell me, because he likes that story, because there's something beautiful in that story. And so we should tell the stories of beautiful stories, the stories of our companions of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, radiallahu ta'ala anhum, and the stories of awliyaullah, all these beautiful zahid people, taqwa people who have piety. We should tell them a story. We should tell them a story of prophets alayhi salam, Hazrat Adam alayhi salam, Hazrat Nuh alayhi salam, Hazrat Idris alayhi salam, Hazrat Yunus, Hazrat Ibrahim, Hazrat Ishaq, Hazrat Yaqub, Hazrat Ismail. We shouldn't have Musa alayhi salam. We tell them a story. Just to tell them stories at home. When you are at home, tell them stories of these prophets. You say, do you know about Musa alayhi salam? How he was brought up? Do you know about this? Do you know about this prophet? Do you know about Nabi Yunus? Do you know about Ayyub alayhi salam? So tell them these stories. They're beautiful and they have morals and they have values. What are these values? Learning from Hobbit and this and that. What do you learn from them? Is there any meaningful thing in it that you can tell your child, this is the meaning? Nothing. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad Nabi. فَلَنَقُصَنَّ عَلَيْهِمْ بِعِلْمٍ وَمَا كُنَّا غَائِبِينَ. Now this refers to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling these people on the day of judgment. He says, I was not absent when you were doing this. I was there. Well, I could see you and I have recorded you. This is your, read your book, and this is enough. You are enough for yourself to examine yourself. Where do you want to go? Do you want to go to Jannah or do you want to go to Jahannam? What did you do? So read your book. اقرأ كتابك كفى بنفسك اليوم عليك حسيبا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will نقصن عليهم بعلم وما كنا غائبين. This is in Surah Al-Araf, ayat number 7. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Hud alayhi salam, نَقُصُّهُ ذَلِكَ مِنْ أَنْبَاءِ الْقُرَىٰ نَقُصُّهُ عَلَيْكَ مِنْهَا قَائِمٌ وَهُوَ حَسِيدٌ قَائِمٌ وَحَسِيدٌ. So this is also in Surah Hud, ayat number 100. And then Yaqussu, you have Yaqussu twice in the surah, in the Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inul hukm illa lillah yaqussul haqq wa huwa khairul faslin. The hukm is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He tells you this story with truthfulness. Wa huwa khairul faslin. This is in Surah Al-Na'am, ayat number 57, and it's very similar ayah in Surah Al-Naml 76. Surah Al-Naml is 27, and ayat number, verse number 76. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna hadha al-Quran yaqussu ala bani Israel aksar alladhi hum fihi yakhtalifun. This Quran, we are telling through this Quran, we are telling them stories of their own people, of their own times, of their own past, in which they have ikhtilaf. They are diverse opinions. They say this or they say this. So we are sending down this Quran in order to correct them. So this Quran corrects what they have ikhtilaf in their books. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Yaqussun, uses the word Yaqussun twice in Quran, in Surah An'am and Surah Araf. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Alam yatikum rusulun minkum yaqussun alaykum ayati. Alam yatikum rusulun minkum. Did not prophets come to you before and telling you the stories, telling you about my ayat? Now there are two ayats, two kinds of ayat. Ayat in afaq, ayat in the cosmos. Look at this, the stars, the sun, the moon, the skies, heavens, and look at the trees, the bushes, all these things that I have created, and your nafs, your digestive system, your nervous system, your this system, this whole anfusukum. This is ayat. My ayat of how I have created and how I have done all these things. This is ayat. And then the other ayat is ayat of Quran. You read them and they are mu'jizah in the Quran. So these are two kinds of the ayat. And in both these places, Surah An'am, ayat number 130, and Surah Araf, ayat number 35, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Alam ya'tikum rusulun minkum yaqussuna alaykum ayati, in Surah An'am. And then similar, but with a little difference, Amma ya'tiyannakum rusulun minkum yaqussuna alaykum ayati. Did we not send down to you, our prophets, yaqussu minkum, yaqussu from among your own people, yaqussuna alaykum ayati. They have been telling you stories of ayat, my ayat. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Araf also, so faqsusul qasas, then tell them the stories, repeat them stories of prophets, stories of awliya Allah, stories of companions of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, stories of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself and other prophets, and these beautiful stories. Tell them these stories. Faqsusul qasas la'allahum yatafakkarun, so that they might think, they might reflect, they might have some perception of what they are supposed to be doing in life. لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ, so they have fikr, يَتَدَبُّرُ. أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنِ. Why don't you have the tadabbur, thinking upon Quran? So if you tell them stories of Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the stories, and then they will learn, they will maybe faqsusul qasas, zakkir, same zikr yanfa'uz mu'minin. Zikr gives benefit to believers, and similarly qasas of good people, pious people, and evil people. You tell them that these are evil, not that this is evil people to be followed. Just like you have heroes, who are evil monsters. They go on destroying the whole world, and they are heroes. This is not the hero. This is not the story. The story should be, the evil should be evil, and the good should be good, depicted as good. But evil, if evil is depicted as good, violent, is good for you, okay, America, what is doing in the whole world is good. And we follow. New Zealand follows, Australia follows, and British, French, all these stupid people, they follow him. Okay, you go and make violence in the whole world and call those victims of your violence as terrorists. They are terrorists. That's why we are killing them. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. فاقصص القصص لعلهم يتفكرون. And Qusay, as used, she followed the sister of Musa alayhi salam. وقالت لأخته قصي, go after. And the mother said to her daughter, the sister of Musa alayhi salam, she said, follow him. I am sending him in the river, and you follow him. And she followed. فَبَصْرَتْ بِهِ مِنْ جُنُبٍ وَهُمْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ. And she followed him from behind, and they did not realize that this little girl was coming after the little basket in which Musa alayhi salam was sitting. So they picked him up, and then she turns up later on and she says, oh, shall I tell you of a family who will look after him for you? Subhanallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how? And he puts in their heart, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts in their heart that this little girl, she has come, and okay, where will you take my mother? She can look after him. Oh, okay. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends Musa alayhi salam baby back to the mother. How beautiful. And because if he had not come back to her, she would have died of grief. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, no, I make promise to you, I will send him back to you, and you look after her. Look after him. So she looked after him for Fir'aun, for herself. And then you have in Surah Ma'idah four times Qisas, and in Surah Ma'idah and Surah Baqarah, 3 times in Baqarah, so 1 time in Qisas. Qisas is something that you return for having done something. So it's Qisas, like if somebody kills somebody, this is Qisas, and it's something that you give back in return for kafara, either kafara or something back. So it's Qisas also from the similar root. Now, then I'll read this. Al-Isfahani, in his Mufradat, he gives different meanings, points out those meanings of words that has been used. Have been used. القصة تتبع الأثر يقال قصصت أثره والقصص الأثر قال تعالى فارتدا على آثارهما قصصا in Surah Alkahaf. وقالت لأخته قصي in Surah in قصص 11. ومنه قيل لما يبقي من الكلى فيتتبع آثاره قسيس وقصصت ظفره. والقصص الأخبار المتتبعات قال لهو القصص الحق in Surah Al Imran verse 62. في قصصهم عبرة in Surah Yusuf عليه السلام وقص عليه القصص in Surah Al-Qasas verse number 25. And Naquss عليك أحسن القصص in Surah Yusuf verse number 3. فلنقصن عليهم بعلم in Surah Araf 7. ويقص على بني إسرائيل in Surah Naml 76 verse. فاقصص القصص Surah Araf ayat number 176. والقصاص تتبع الدم بالقود قال تعالى ولكم في القصاص حياة in Surah Baqarah 179 and other places. And then you have والجروح قصاص in Surah Ma'idah verse number 45. ويقال قص فلان فلانا وضربه ضربا فأقصه يأقصه أي أدناه من الموت. وقص means jassa means cementing, plastering, chalking, or building. So jassas, very great scholar, mufassir of Quran, Ahkam al-Quran. His book is Ahkam al-Quran, his name is Jassas. So he was builder, doing this plastering and cementing and this kind of thing. You have different people doing different work in building. Jassas. And we have some friend, Jassas, also here in New Zealand. Jassas, ونهي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم عن تقصيص القبور. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam prohibited people from cementing, plastering the graves of people, so making them hard to come up on the day of judgment. Subhanallah, salli ala sayyidina Muhammad nabiyyi al-ummi al-ali wa sahbihi azwaji zurriyati al-bayt ajma'in bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. ربنا تقبل منا وإنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا وإنك أنت التواب الرحيم.